Friday evening YouTube. This is Tired Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are doing well. We've made it. Seems like it's been a long week for some. It's definitely been a long week for me, but we've made it to the end of the week. Hopefully a lot of you guys are off for the weekend. If you're still on the grind working, just keep your head up. And hopefully soon that you'll get the break that you need and you'll be able to recharge. Of course, on this channel here, especially in case you're new, because we've had a recent uptick in subscribers, which I really appreciate, by the way. On Fridays, we usually do a weekend forecast, and that will be the case today. So, without any delay, let's get right into it. Didn't mean for all that to rhyme. Anyway, I have some ongoing severe weather in the Gulf states right here. Mainly around the panhandles of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and into Florida. So, the main threat for today will definitely be wind and hail. There has been no tornado report so far. This MCS is the same one that went through Oklahoma, Texas, and parts of Kansas last night. Definitely lost a little bit of steam though. But it's still causing plenty of trouble so far, and this is expected to continue into the late evening, especially as we get further in, as this pushes further east. Maybe the eastern parts of the Florida Panhandle, maybe even the shaft part of Florida might need to be a little bit more careful. So we'll take a look at that, and then we'll look at the next couple of days for severe weather. Slight risk is still in effect. There's still a 2% chance of tornadoes. I think this is going to drop off really soon. We still can't rule it out. Then we have our 15% wind threat and our very minimalistic hail threat. So go to day 2. Excuse me. If this will load, geez. And we now have been upgraded to marginal risk. Yesterday's video, we didn't have this. So this is a very interesting development here. I mean, I thought this was possible, but I wasn't really sold on it. I'm definitely thinking this is mostly a wind and hail threat. Tornado threat's minimal. Oh, well, they actually do have a little small area around Nebraska, Kansas, and Iowa, and parts of Missouri as well. Might need to watch towards Omaha and Lincoln. Tornado chance is relatively low, though. It's only 2%. It's a very small, localized area. But who's to say that things can't happen? In fact, we saw earlier this week, we saw a localized area of tornadic activity around Springfield, Ohio, and Columbus. From the reports that I've gotten so far, no one was hurt. If you have any updates, please let me know in the comments section. But if somebody was affected by that, send them a prayer, and I do hope that you can get the resources that you need to get back on your feet as quick as possible. So, that being said, let's go back to the wind and hail reports, or wind and hail lost my train of thought there. But we do have both a 5% wind and hail threat within our marginal risk area. And it stretches as far back west as Montana and even Wyoming, and going as far east as Minnesota, not Illinois, but Iowa and Kansas, including areas like Kansas City, Des Moines, and then Lincoln and Omaha, of course. We have Norfolk, Sioux Falls, Valentine, Pierre, and Rapid City. All of these big cities here could be at risk for some stronger thunderstorms. Let's go to day 3. And business starts to pick back up. We get a slight risk towards the western part of the plains. Once again, we have Montana in play as well as Wyoming. And then there's a little bit more of a focused threat. This is definitely leaning towards more of an MCS look just based off the map. I'm only going to assume that so far. Things can easily change. We'll go more in depth with this tomorrow morning. But we also have Sheridan. Well, Sheridan is just outside of this, but we have Rapid City, Valentine, and McCook in play in the slight risk. And then in the marginal risk, we do have Sheridan. We have, in North Dakota, we have Bismarck. Fargo, you're just outside the marginal. We have Aberdeen, South Dakota, and Sioux Falls. Then towards the south, we have areas like Colby, Kansas. We have Omaha and Lincoln in there once again. We have Des Moines, Iowa. And then this stretches into the Ohio Valley here. Once again, Springfield, Cincinnati, Columbus. You guys might be in play for some storms. We got Evansville, Kentucky, as well as Bowling Green and Louisville. We got St. Louis, Kansas City, Springfield, Peoria, but Chicago. You're just outside of this as well. Have to watch you as well. We have a secondary marginal risk area that's around the Delmarva area, which is including Baltimore and Washington, D.C., and even Philadelphia as well for good measure. Richmond, I would say you're right on the line. I might as well call you in it at this point. All right, so that's the severe weather threat for this week. Now, I'm going to go back real quick. I'm going to take a look at we're going to take a quick look at our hurricane outlook for the weekend. Really quick, I'm going to just show this to you. Where is it? All right, here we are. So over the next 48 to 72 hours, we will not be, more than likely, I'm not expecting any tropical development, and there's our verification there. Let's even go as far as the 5-day tropical outlook. Nothing here in the Atlantic. Let's check towards Eastern Pacific. And we do have something that's popped up here, but this looks like it's heading out to sea in the Pacific. This is not going to be a threat to anyone in Mexico or the Baja Peninsula or anywhere in the lower 48. It'll be interesting to watch this little storm develop. And if we look on the 2-day tropical outlook, we only have a 30% chance. It's just now starting to pop up here. We'll have to watch this, see if this brings any sort of unsettled weather to Mexico. Because if anything, it might bring some squally showers. But beyond that, and maybe some stronger winds, but beyond that, it's not going to be very impactful, unlike the last storm, unlike Agatha. So let's check towards Central Pacific. We'll even include Hawaii on this one. We look on the 2-day, we don't see anything there. We just see a bunch of clouds. And we look on the 5-day, and we have nothing there. So as far as hurricane season is concerned, things are still quiet. Let's take a look at what I'm sure a lot of people are most interested in right now, and that's the temperatures. Starting to heat back up around a big part of the country. 80s and 90s are extending almost all the way into the north central plains here. Even into the northeast a bit, we're getting some low to mid 80s even. So guys better have that AC on and have some extra cold water on hand, especially if you're outdoors, because the heat will be on. Let's move forward here. Even when we get into the lows tonight, come on map. Okay, there we go. Even in the southeast, we're still getting lows that are hanging around the 70s. Towards the further north you go, the lows tend to get a little bit better, but even then, for you guys, it's pretty warm. We're getting some lows in the 60s, a couple areas in the 50s. Maybe if you're towards the Great Lakes or in the mountains, you might get some 40s for lows, but beyond that, it's still staying pretty warm. In the Midwest and the Southwest, you guys are absolutely baking right now. Your lows are sitting around the mid to upper 70s or the low 80s in a lot of cases, which is crazy. Going to Saturday afternoon, we're starting to hit the hundreds around the Panhandle and even stretching into the central parts of Texas. We're getting a lot more hundreds around the Southwest here. Around the Northeast, things look pretty good, pretty cool, but quickly things start to. But I think even in time, you guys are going to start to feel the wrath of summer as far as the heat's concerned. Going to Sunday here, same story. We do get a little bit more cold air pushing to the southwest, maybe. We got some areas in the desert starting to get into those low 60s, and then we're getting more low 50s around the northwest, which is nice for them. I'm kind of jealous, to be honest. So we go into Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon. Heat picks right back up. It is looking a little bit colder in the west. It looks like it does get a little bit colder. We're getting some northwest in particular. We're getting some 60s in there. But if you're anywhere west of the Sierras, you're baking. And then once you get into the desert, of course, we all know the game. Pretty much anywhere to the east of the Sierras as well, unless you're on a mountaintop or in the higher elevations, you're gonna be baking. That's just what we got going on here. Now let's take a look at the potential precip that may lie ahead. I don't really need to say much as far as the eastern half of the country is concerned. You're pretty much anywhere where I'm just kind of gliding this cursor around. You pretty much have a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm. So basically, I would just put it as 50-50. Either you're going to see rain or you're not. So let's move this forward here. Here is this upper level low here is what is going to be our next troublemaker here. Going to cause a little bit of unsettled weather around the northern plains. Huh? Uh-oh. I've been kicked to the wrong model here. I was wondering why that was showing something around the southern plains here. Apologize for that. Alright, now we're back on track. Here is our storm system towards the Gulf states right now. Setting off a little bit of severe weather. And then once we get into the late night hours, we're going to be watching our next upper level low. Get set up right around here. Right on that Nebraska, South Dakota, and Wyoming border line here. And we will watch this start to set off some storms early in the day from the looks of it. Around the northern plains. Iowa towards the mid-afternoon hours, you might get some potentially severe storms. Nothing too impressive, but once we get towards the evening, things settle down. When we go into Sunday, we get a secondary area that tries to develop. Looks a little bit more impressive, but we'll have to watch that real close and see if that does anything. When we get into Sunday afternoon, though, things still seem pretty quiet until we get into the late evening hours. We get this little area of storms, and actually looks pretty formidable compared to the last system. We could get a little bit of a mixture of everything from the looks of it. We'll definitely go into greater detail with this tomorrow. We also have a little bit of unsettled weather for the Northeast and the Ohio Valley, as this low that's swirling over Canada stirs up some unsettled weather around the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley. Mostly expecting rain here. You might get a couple booms, a couple rumbles of thunder. Over towards the Northeast, we get a little bit of snow in the high elevations, but beyond that, it's mostly rain for the Northwest. Towards the Southeast, like I said, pretty much a 50-50 shot on whether you see a pop-up thunderstorm throughout the weekend. But this is all I got for you for the weekend forecast. We'll go over the severe weather threat, both in the short and the long term, tomorrow. So, in the meantime, we'll actually take a quick look at this. We'll go over Sunday and Monday's threat tomorrow. I remember saying in the last video, maybe if the weather stays calm for the rest of the weekend, I may actually take a break. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes. As long as there's weather to talk about, I'll be here. But until then, this has been Tired Metalhead Weatherman. I will see you guys in the next video tomorrow. Till then, take care. Have a good weekend.